Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you, mashallah, some beautiful faces. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yanawwar alaykum ya Rabb. Can I kindly ask that before we start, inshallah, please no one to be recording. So I can already see some of the brothers, they're holding their phones, trying to hide it. Please, if I can kindly ask, inshallah, to put your phone away. Don't record, not audio, not visual. And I'll tell you why, because once your phone starts recording, your heart stops recording. And there's no point in your phone benefiting and you and I were not benefiting. So please, can I kindly ask the brothers to not record, inshallah. That's the same for the sisters as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you guys. As well, also, before I start, wallahi, yesterday I didn't get a chance, but I wanted to thank Sheikh Abdul Salam and Brother Rabia and the community of Masjid al-Sunnah for opening their doors and inviting me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them and bless them and put nur in this masjid. This is it's a beautiful sign when doors are opened for mahabba and for unity. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the Shaykh and to bless the brothers that are involved. طيب. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the King, the Master, the Sustainer, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, and we send peace and blessings upon His beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's a lot I want to mention, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes it easy. But I ask for your undivided attention, please. Please, for your undivided attention. You know, many of us, we come to a talk. Please, brothers, no pictures. Please, brothers, no pictures, no recording. Many of us, we come to the talk, or you come to a Friday khutbah, or you come to a lesson, and there's this sickness where you come to see how will the Shaykh or the speaker or the Imam, how will he entertain me? Or how will he inform me of something? And therefore you find a lot of times today, people go shopping for speakers that they like. This is very, very dangerous, because this will limit your benefit. The reality is, whenever a Muslim goes to any gathering, we should sit in that gathering asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts. And you benefit only according to how much you want. That's why, depending on where you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will take something from the message. You know, sometimes you learn something from the speaker that the speaker himself had no intention on teaching you. Sometimes you learn something from a speaker, the speaker himself had no intention on teaching you that particular lesson. But that was based on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was based on your hunger, your sincerity. So Allah will teach you things. You know, sometimes Allah will teach you from means that you never thought possible. Wallah, sometimes Allah will teach you by watching an animal. Sometimes just by watching two animals, Allah might teach you a lesson that you could never find in a book, based on what you want. So tonight, based on what you want, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give. You see, my brothers and sisters, every single man, Rajal in Arabic, every man is a male. But not every male is a man. Every man, every Rajal is a male. But not every male is a man, and there's a very big difference between the two. You see, most of us, we like to think we're men, Rijal. Speak to anyone and tell him, brother, are you a man or a male? And instantly you will see a reaction in him, almost as if, brother, are you questioning my abilities? Are you questioning my honor and my dignity? every man is a male, but not every male is a man. You see, being a male, my brothers, doesn't make you special. Being a male doesn't make you special. Because you were born that way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made you male. And in fact, even that, yesterday, you didn't even have to be born a male. Yesterday, you didn't even have to be born a male. You could go and get a surgery and become a male. Today, you don't even need the surgery. Today, you just have to think. You just have to feel that you're a male. And legally, the law will accept you and protect you and give you the rights as a male, regardless of what you are, based on a thought, based on a feeling. So being male doesn't make you special, but to be a man, to be a rijal, there's no surgery for that, my brothers. There's no hormones for that. To be a rijal, that's not a feeling that you can claim in your heart and then all of a sudden you become a rijal. That's not how it works. To be a man, that's not something you can get tattooed on your arm. See, many of us, we like to look like we're tough. We like to present ourselves that we're... To be a rijal, that's not something you can get tattooed. To be a rijal, to be a man, you see, look, even in the Quran, whenever something is of importance, whenever something is of high regards, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses rijal, men. Whenever it's something general, it's something that is not overly important, Allah says dhakar, males, distinguishing that there's a big gap between the two. And tonight, my brothers, I want to ask you and I, how will you stand in front of Allah as a dhakar or as a rijal? As a dhakar or as a rijal? Which one? You see, who determines who is the rijal? Who? What is the criteria of being a man? Unfortunately now, our society is pushed by social media. It's pushed by media, movies, entertainment industry is now shaping societies. And unfortunately, even Muslims, practicing Muslims, have taken the traits of Jahiliyyah and tried to make it deen. So if I was to ask anyone here, brother, what makes a rijal? What makes a man? If we're honest tonight, if we're really honest tonight, in our society today where we live, there's a lot of honor and respect and glamour given to the one that knows how to fight. Have you noticed this? Anyone who knows how to physically handle himself, anyone who knows how to throw a few punches, in our society, this is admired, this is loved, this is considered an attribute of a rijal. That if you know how to fight, this is why now MMA is such a big thing in our community. Boxing is such a big thing in our community. Wrestling and all of these physical contact sports. Sports that the Prophet ﷺ clearly made haram because of the striking of the face. But really deep down, we don't care about what the Prophet really thinks. We care about what the society think. And now if you don't know how to fight, then brother, you're not considered as a man. So we have this epidemic now. And trust me, this is not new. Muslims understand whatever sickness we're going through, it's not new. The Habib, the teacher, the master, he came to teach. He came to cure the society of all of its sicknesses. But unfortunately, we're made to believe that the Sunnah is 1400 years old. Brother, we're living in a different time, in a different place. La wallah, it's the exact same diseases. So the Prophet ﷺ, please, I want you to leave this with me. The Prophet walks into the masjid one day, ﷺ, yes? Walks into the masjid and finds the Sahaba wrestling. Halal or haram? the Sahaba do something haram in the masjid? A'udhu billah, no. So clearly halal, they were wrestling in the masjid, wrestling, not striking the face, wrestling in the masjid. So he sallallahu alayhi wasallam walks into the masjid and sees the gathering. You know, I just, because I have a very strange way of thinking, let me think out loud with you, and Allahu alam, I'm not saying this is sharh of the hadith, no, these are just my thoughts. You know, sometimes you're doing something with your friend and it's funny, between you and him it's funny. But then someone walks in and all of a sudden it goes from funny to looking very foolish.
Trading in the Zone. Master the market with confidence, discipline, and a winning attitude. By Mark Douglas. Forward. The great bull market in stocks has led to an equally great bull market in the number of books published on the subject of how to make money trading the markets. Many ideas abound, some good, some not, some original, some just a repackaging of earlier works. Occasionally, though, a writer comes forward with something that really sets him or her apart from the pack, something special. One such writer is Mark Douglas. Mark Douglas, in Trading in the Zone, has written a book that is the accumulation of years of thought and research, the work of a lifetime, and for those of us who view trading as a profession, he has produced a gem. Trading in the Zone is an in-depth look at the challenges that we face when we take up the challenge of trading. To the novice, the only challenge appears to be to find a way to make money. Once the novice learns that tips, brokers' advice, and other ways to justify buying or selling do not work consistently, he discovers that he either needs to develop a reliable trading strategy or purchase one. After that, trading should be easy, right? All you have to do is follow the rules, and the money will fall into your lap. At this point, if not before, novices discover that trading can turn into one of the most frustrating experiences they will ever face. This experience leads to the oft-started statistic that 95% of futures traders lose all of their money within the first year of trading. Stock traders generally experience the same results, which is why pundits always point to the fact that most stock traders fail to outperform a simple buy and hold investment scenario. So, why do people, the majority of whom are extremely successful in other occupations, fail so miserably as traders? Are successful traders born and not made? Mark Douglas says no. What's necessary, he says, is that the individual acquire the trader's mindset. It sounds easy, but the fact is, this mindset is very foreign when compared with the way our life experiences teach us to think about the world. That 95% failure rate makes sense when you consider how most of us experience life, using skills learned as we grow. When it comes to trading, however, it turns out that the skills we learn to earn high marks in school, advance our careers, and create relationships with other people, the skills we are taught that should carry us through life, turn out to be inappropriate for trading. Traders, we find out, must learn to think in terms of probabilities and to surrender all of the skills we have acquired to achieve in virtually every other aspect of our lives. In Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas teaches us how. He has put together a very valuable book. His sources are his own personal experiences as a trader, a trader's coach in Chicago, author, and lecturer in his field of trading psychology. My recommendation? Enjoy Douglas's Trading in the Zone and, in doing so, develop a trader's mindset. Preface. The goal of any trader is to turn profits on a regular basis, yet so few people ever really make consistent money as traders. What accounts for the small percentage of traders who are consistently successful? To me, the determining factor is psychological. The consistent winners think differently from everyone else. I started trading in 1978. At the time, I was managing a commercial casualty insurance agency in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan. I had a very successful career and thought I could easily transfer that success into trading. Unfortunately, I found that was not the case. By 1981, I was thoroughly disgusted with my inability to trade effectively while holding another job, so I moved to Chicago and got a job as a broker with Merrill Lynch at the Chicago Board of Trade. How did I do? Well, within 9 months of moving to Chicago, I had lost nearly everything I owned. My losses were the result of both my trading activities and my exorbitant lifestyle, which demanded that I make a lot of money as a trader. From these early experiences as a trader, I learned an enormous amount about myself and about the role of psychology in trading. As a result, in 1982, I started working on my first book, The Disciplined Trader: Developing Winning Attitudes. When I began this project, I had no concept of how difficult it was to write a book or explain something that I understood for myself in a manner and form that would be useful to other people. I thought it was going to take me between 6 and 9 months to get the job done. It took 7.5 years and was finally published by Prentice Hall in 1990. In 1983, I left Merrill Lynch to start a consulting firm, Trading Behavior Dynamics, where I presently develop and conduct seminars on trading psychology and act in the capacity of what is commonly referred to as a trading coach. I've done countless presentations for trading companies, clearing firms, brokerage houses, banks, and investment conferences all over the world. I've worked at a personal level, one-on-one, with virtually every type of trader in the business, including some of the biggest floor traders, hedgers, option specialists, and CTAs, as well as neophytes as of this writing. I have spent the last 17 years dissecting the psychological dynamics behind trading so that I could develop effective methods for teaching the proper principles of success. What I've discovered is that, at the most fundamental level, there is a problem with the way we think. There is something inherent in the way our minds work that doesn't fit very well with the characteristics shown by the markets. Those traders who have confidence in their own trades, who trust themselves to do what needs to be done without hesitation, are the ones who become successful. They no longer fear the erratic behavior of the market. They learn to focus on the information that helps them spot opportunities to make a profit, rather than focusing on the information that reinforces their fears. While this may sound complicated, it all boils down to learning to believe that 1. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. 2. Anything can happen. And 3. Every moment is unique, meaning every edge and outcome is truly a unique experience. The trade either works or it doesn't. In any case, you wait for the next edge to appear and go through the process again and again. With this approach, you will learn in a methodical, non-random fashion what works and what doesn't. And, just as important, you will build a sense of self-trust so that you won't damage yourself in an environment that has the unlimited qualities the markets have. Most traders don't believe that their trading problems are the result of the way they think about trading or, more specifically, how they are thinking while they are trading. In my first book, The Disciplined Trader, I identified the problems confronting the trader from a mental perspective and then built a philosophical framework for understanding the nature of these problems and why they exist. I had 5 major objectives in mind in writing Trading in the Zone. To prove to the trader that more or better market analysis is not the solution to his trading difficulties or lack of consistent results. To convince the trader that it's his attitude and state of mind that determine his results. To provide the trader with the specific beliefs and attitudes that are necessary to build a winner's mindset, which means learning how to think in probabilities. To address the many conflicts, contradictions, and paradoxes in thinking that cause the typical trader to assume that he already does think in probabilities, when he really doesn't. To take the trader through a process that integrates this thinking strategy into his mental system at a functional level. Note, until recently, most traders were men, but I recognize that more and more women are joining the ranks. In an effort to avoid confusion and awkward phrasing, I have consistently used the pronoun he throughout this book in describing traders. This certainly does not reflect any bias on my part. Trading in the zone presents a serious psychological approach to becoming a consistent winner in your trading. I do not offer a trading system. I am more interested in showing you how to think in the way necessary to become a profitable trader. I assume that you already have your own system, your own edge. You must learn to trust your edge. The edge means there is a higher probability of one outcome than another. The greater your confidence, the easier it will be to execute your trades. This book is designed to give you the insight and understanding you need about yourself and the nature of trading, so that actually doing it becomes as easy, simple, and stress-free as when you're just watching the market and thinking about doing it. In order to determine how well you think like a trader, take the following attitude survey. There are no right or wrong answers. Your answers are an indication of how consistent your current mental framework is with the way you need to think in order to get the most out of your trading. Attitude survey. 1. To make money as a trader, you have to know what the market is going to do next. Agree, disagree. 2. Sometimes I find myself thinking that there must be a way to trade without having to take a loss. Agree, disagree. 3. Making money as a trader is primarily a function of analysis. Agree, disagree. 4. Losses are an unavoidable component of trading. Agree, disagree. 5. My risk is always defined before I enter a trade. Agree, disagree. 6. In my mind, there is always a cost associated with finding out what the market may do next. Agree, disagree. 7. I wouldn't even bother putting on the next trade if I wasn't sure that it was going to be a winner. Agree, disagree. 8. The more a trader learns about the markets and how they behave, the easier it will be for him to execute his trades. Agree, disagree. 9. My methodology tells me exactly under what market conditions to either enter or exit a trade. Agree, disagree. 10. Even when I have a clear signal to reverse my position, I find it extremely difficult to do. Agree, disagree. 11. I have sustained periods of consistent success, usually followed by some fairly drastic drawdowns in my equity. Agree, disagree. 12. When I first started trading, I would describe my trading methodology as haphazard, meaning some success in between a lot of pain. Agree, disagree. 13. I often find myself feeling that the markets are against me personally. Agree, disagree. 14. As much as I might try to let go, I find it very difficult to put past emotional wounds behind me. Agree, disagree. 15. I have a money management philosophy that is founded in the principle of always taking some money out of the market when the market makes it available. Agree, disagree. 16. A trader's job is to identify patterns in the market's behavior that represent an opportunity and then to determine the risk of finding out if these patterns will play themselves out as they have in the past. Agree, disagree. 17. Sometimes I just can't help feeling that I am a victim of the market. Agree, disagree. 18. When I trade, I usually try to stay focused in one time frame. Agree, disagree. 19. Trading successfully requires a degree of mental flexibility far beyond the scope of most people. Agree, disagree. 20. There are times when I can definitely feel the flow of the market. However, I often have difficulty acting on these feelings. Agree, disagree. 21. There are many times when I am in a profitable trade and I know the move is basically over, but I still won't take my profits. Agree, disagree. 22. No matter how much money I make in a trade, I am rarely ever satisfied and feel that I could have made more. Agree, disagree. 23. When I put on a trade, I feel I have a positive attitude. I anticipate all of the money I could make from the trade in a positive way. Agree, disagree. 24. The most important component in a trader's ability to accumulate money over time is having a belief in his own consistency. Agree, disagree. 25. If you were granted a wish to be able to instantaneously acquire one trading skill, What scale would you choose? 26. I often spend sleepless nights worrying about the market. Agree, disagree. 27. Do you ever feel compelled to make a trade because you are afraid that you might miss out? Yes, no. 28. Although it doesn't happen very often, I really like my trades to be perfect. When I make a perfect call, it feels so good that it makes up for all of the times that I don't. Agree, disagree. 29. Do you ever find yourself planning trades you never execute, and executing trades you never planned? Yes, no. 30. In a few sentences, explain why most traders either don't make money or aren't able to keep what they make. Set aside your answers as you read through this book. After you've finished the last chapter, Thinking Like a Trader, take the attitude survey again. It is reprinted at the back of the book. You may be surprised to see how much your answers differ from the first time. Chapter 1. The Road to Success, Fundamental, Technical, or Mental Analysis? In the beginning, fundamental analysis. Who remembers when fundamental analysis was considered the only real or proper way to make trading decisions? When I started trading in 1978, technical analysis was used by only a handful of traders, who were considered by the rest of the market community to be, at the very least, crazy. As difficult as it is to believe now, it wasn't very long ago when Wall Street and most of the major funds and financial institutions thought that technical analysis was some form of the mystical hocus pocus. Now, of course, just the opposite is true. Almost all experienced traders use some form of technical analysis to help them formulate their trading strategies. Except for some small, isolated pockets in the academic community, the purely fundamental analyst is virtually extinct. What caused this dramatic shift in perspective? I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone that the answer to this question is very simple: money. The problem with making trading decisions from a strictly fundamental perspective is the inherent difficulty of making money consistently using this approach. For those of you who may not be familiar with fundamental analysis, let me explain. Fundamental analysis attempts to take into consideration all the variables that could affect the relative balance or imbalance between the supply of and the possible demand for any particular stock, commodity, or financial instrument. Using primarily mathematical models that weigh the significance of a variety of factors, interest rates, balance sheets, weather patterns, and numerous others, the analyst projects what a price should be at some point in the future. The problem with these models is that they rarely, if ever, factor in other traders as variables. People, expressing their